Good morning. Um, Happy Friday. Here we are, end of the week. Um, I feel like this week went pretty fast. Mm, It was, some weeks are like that. It's like all of a sudden it's Friday and you're like, what happened? So I don't know. Maybe this was one of those weeks. So um, let's see. What should we talk about today? Hmm, I don't know. Nothing's really coming to me. Usually, I don't usually have an idea when we start class about what we're going to talk about. It usually just kind of comes to me either from something that I'm telling you or just a random thought. Um, but some days there's really nothing. So then we just kind of do class. I'm trying to think if there's anything I wanted to tell you guys. I told you that I would be on vacation in a couple of weeks, right? Yeah, I think I did. I think the 8th is when I'm leaving. Um, and I thought about trying to do class there, but I'm pretty sure we don't have any, uh, we only have wireless access to the internet. There's no hardwire. So I don't think that's going to fly. Um, but there's plenty of other classes online if you want to keep going. Or you could take a vacation too. One of the nice things um, about doing your practice is I think sometimes taking a break, because like everything that is routine in your life, you tend to sort of take it for granted at some point. It becomes, I mean, for good and for bad, right? I mean, that's a good thing in some ways, that if your yoga practice is so ingrained in your daily routine that you don't even really think about it, you just do it. That's great. That's amazing. But the problem with that is then we tend to forget about how good it's making us feel because we just feel that way all the time, which is also great. But when you take a break, uh, that's the time that you remember why am I doing this in the first place, right? Um, because you'll start to feel a little creaky and maybe a little stressed out. Um, you may have some trouble with keeping your thoughts organized. It's funny, the times that I have taken prolonged breaks from yoga have been. Uh, it starts out okay, right? It all seems okay at first, and then it's not okay. Um, but I think the longest I've gone without doing yoga in recent memory is about a month, right? So but the time between um, when we shut down classes and I started doing classes here, and I shouldn't say I stopped doing yoga. I just stopped doing asana, right? So I keep my practices regardless, and they help. But I feel like asana, physical practice, is really the anchor for much of what else you do. Um, for me, anyway, it is a pretty important part of the overall practice. So when my asana is not happening, then um, I feel like nothing's really happening, right? But it is nice to take a break, take a day off now and then, take a week off, but expect to feel a little worse um, for the wear because of it. And certainly, if you have times in your life that you're doing, and I've done this as well. Like if you have a very strenuous, if you have very strenuous activity that you're doing, say you are working out a lot or training for something, a race or um, just doing a lot of physical activity, even a lot of physical work, working in the garden, things like that. Um, you may want to ease up on the asana. So it doesn't mean you might not want to do any, but you might change what you do to accommodate it. Um, but because it's not meant to be, I mean, I shouldn't say it's not meant to be. I don't feel my asana practice is not a strenuous, super difficult practice. Some people's it are, right? And that is part of their, um, they do the hour practice or a 2 hour practice, 2.5 hour practice, which is a lot. This to me is just that's a huge amount of time to devote to something like that on a daily basis. So it takes a great deal of determination and um, time management, I think, to do that. So um, there's lots of paths, there's lots of ways to get there. And you need to discover for yourself what constitutes a whole practice for you. What do you need or want to in terms of movement and that sort of thing. Um, but yeah, taking a break. Don't be afraid to take a break. You can always come back to it, you know, and that's something I've known since I was 10 years old or 12 years old, watching PBS ran a yoga um, class at 5:30 in the morning or something, Channel 12. Um, Trying to get up to do that right before school, that was hard, and I didn't make it most of the time. But that was it, man. That was yoga, and then yoga again in my middle school. It was a something I offered in gym class. The football coach's wife was a yoga teacher, so there you go. In the 70s, pretty out there stuff. So there were opportunities, but you go great stretches of time before you come across it again. So um, now we have there's no excuse not to do yoga if you want to do yoga. Doesn't mean you always want to do yoga. You don't have to have an excuse to not do it, but there's always resources for that if you want to do it. So that's great. It's a wonderful time for that. And I didn't say hello to anyone. Barbara and Sandra, good morning. And Susan and Dora. I hope you guys have something nice planned for the weekend. I think the weather is going to get a little cooler. I was looking at next week. Looks like the 80s or so, which should be kind of fabulous. We're coming down, right? September is just around the corner, like literally just around the corner. We're coming towards the end of summer, which is nice. I mean, I don't mind. I like the change of the seasons. I really like fall and spring. Um, but I don't know. It's funny because in the winter you can't wait till summer, and then the summer you're like, "Ugh, it's so hot. Please just get cooler." So we're never really happy, are we? All right. So as we move through practice, um, see what you need today. Right? Find that level of movement that feels appropriate for you today. Notice if you've got some areas that don't feel so great today. We'll move them carefully. Take a deep breath and then chin down toward the chest. Let the head hang down. Lift the head. Keep lifting the chin. Head drops back. Coming back to neutral here. Take a deep breath. Lower the head over to the right. Just moving comfortably, not trying to force anything here. Back to center, breath in, moving left. And back up. Take a deep breath, lean forward a little, and then we're moving around. One way and the other. Back up to your seat. Arms wide. Take a deep breath and then exhale, hands together. Inhale, arms wide. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Interlace your fingers, lift the hands, gaze up. Arms down by your side. Inhale, lift. Lower. Lift. And lower. Let's lift the shoulders and roll back. Then roll forward. Left hand on right knee, right arm behind you. Sit up tall, take a twist. Moving back to center. Same thing, going the other way. And back to center. Walk the hands out. Back up. Fingers pointing away from the body. Squeeze the shoulders back. Gaze up. And back to your seat. Tabletop. Sitting back to child's pose. Moving back up. Tabletop to downward dog. Move around a little if you want. Walking the feet up. Let's be in a fold. Maybe bend the knees. One at a time, keep the heels on the mat. So it's a pretty small movement. Slowly rising up. Stand tall, breath in and breath out. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, right foot steps back, arms overhead. Hands to the mat, move back. Downward dog. Inhale, forward to high plank. Lower down. Inhale, lift, head and chest. Then lower. Lift. And lower. Lift. And lower. Moving back up. Tabletop, downward dog. Take another breath, then step, right foot up. Drop your knee, arms overhead. Hands to the mat. Step it up and fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Lifting on the inhale. Hands back to mountain. Take a breath. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Stepping back on the exhale. Drop the knee, arms overhead. Hands to the mat, step back. Moving forward on an inhale, and then lowering down. Inhale, lift. Lower. Lift. And lower. One more, lifting, head and chest. We're coming to upward dog. Ending up back in downward dog. One more breath. On the exhale, we're stepping that left foot up. Drop the knee, arms overhead. And then hands down to the mat. Step the back foot up. Fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Lifting the arms. And then coming back to mountain. Breath in. And breath out. Let's do one more round of those. How about that? Arms overhead. Deep breath in. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, step back, right foot. Arms overhead. Hands to the mat. Moving back. Downward dog. Forward high plank. And lower. Inhale, lift, head and chest. Lower. Lift. Lower. Last one. Too far back. Yeah, so either cobra or up dog. Moving back. Downward dog. One more breath. And right foot steps up. Drop the knee, arms overhead. And hands to the mat. Back foot steps up. Fold. Inhale, flat back. Then a fold. Lifting arms high. Back to mountain. Breath in, breath out. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. On the exhale, left foot steps back. Drop your knee. Arms overhead. Hands to the mat. Step back. Downward dog. Inhale, forward to high plank. Lower down. Inhale, lift. Lower. Lift. And lower. Once more, lift. Maybe upward dog. Then downward dog. One more breath in, then step the left foot forward. Drop the knee, arms overhead. Hands down to the mat. Back foot steps up. Fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Lifting on the inhale. Back to mountain. Breath in and breath out. Okay. So let's work on some balance. Standing on the left. We'll start with tree. Hands to center. Whatever version of tree you want. We're just making sure that that right knee is rotated out as much as possible, which is certainly more important than how high the foot is, right? But if you have trouble rotating that knee outward, that's just tight hips, so don't worry about it. Just go as far as you can and breathe. If you want to extend the arms in your tree, you certainly can. And then set everything back down. We're going to switch sides. Standing on the right, bringing the foot in, rotating that knee out as much as possible. Hands to center or extending, your choice. Keeping that steady breath, steady gaze. And then set the foot back down, bicycle out the legs. From mountain, we're just going to lift up the right knee. Nice and steady, foot is flexed, so that's really strong here. Knees about the height of the hip. You can stay right here, or if you've got more balance today, you might catch a hold of the toe, sort of draw that in close to the body. You could work on extending if that's in your practice. Whatever you want to do. Right? That lifting the knee is kind of the starting point, and then you can do other things. But whatever you choose, you want to be nice and upright. Right? So if you're catching your foot makes you be like this, maybe try this instead. Pull this up. Right? Until you can get that leg up and not be hunched over, then maybe you want to avoid doing that. Start bringing the knee up, keeping that upright posture. Okay? Set the foot down, switch sides. Standing on the right, lifting the left. And again, whatever you want to do here. And whatever you try on the one side, give it a try on the other. Right? You may find it's easier, maybe harder. You might be surprised by how one side works compared to the other. That happens. And then just bring everything back down. Bicycle out the legs. And we're going to step out into Warrior Three. So we got hands together. Take a deep breath. Starting with the left leg, stepping out. Shift the weight over into the left. And then we can start lifting. A little or a lot. Going with that internal balance. So maybe it's only a little today. That's fine. Whatever it is, you want to be able to be steady. And then rest the foot back down. And we'll switch sides. Breath in, stepping out right. And again, finding your level today. You can keep hands together. You could bring them out if that is helpful to you. Just see. And then set your foot back down, bicycle legs. Moving back, top of the mat, arms overhead. Maybe lean back a little. Fold forward. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, step back. Downward dog. Inhale, coming forward to high plank, and then lower down. Head turns right, arms by your side. Bring your head back to center. I'm going to lift up head and chest and the arms, also the legs. So just rest the hands on the mat. Lifting up. And lower down. Head turns left. Head back to center. Bring the arms out in front, setting up for your Sphinx pose. Hands resting down, shoulders pulling back. Breathe. You can always move up into seal if you want to. Here, pressing down with the palms. And then lowering down. You can rest your chin or your forehead. Moving back up. Tabletop and then child's pose. Tabletop downward dog. And coming back down to a seat. Soles of the feet together. Sitting up tall. Take a deep breath. Lean forward. So you can use your elbows here to kind of press down on the knees if you feel like they're kind of hanging out in space. Sometimes they have some ability to move down. They just aren't doing it on their own. So you can give them a little encouragement, but gentle, right? Not trying to force anything. Coming back up. Both legs out in front. Breath in, then fold forward. Moving back up. Bend the right knee and then lower that knee out to the side. Bring the right foot in by the thigh. Take a deep breath and fold forward. Back up. Switch. Deep breath in, folding forward. up, both legs out in front. Breath in, fold forward. Moving back up, bend the knees. We've got the soles of the feet on the mat. And we're going to move into boat pose. So for this, you can do this a couple of ways, right? We're gonna maybe start, bring the hands underneath the knees, right? So just sort of holding on to the thighs, and we're gonna lift the feet so you're balanced. And extend the legs. So you could extend halfway, you could extend all the way, you could release the hands, right? You could keep the hands. So whatever you want to do here is fine. The main thing is to just be balanced and upright. Bend the knees. We're going to bring the soles of the feet together again. Take a deep breath. Fold forward. And then back up. Lowering down. Breathe. Get comfortable here. And then we've got right ankle up on top of left knee. Maybe staying there or drawing that left thigh in. Set the foot down, switch. And resting everything back down. Take a few breaths. And then we're going to bring the knees into the chest. Rock side to side a little bit. And then arms to a T or goalpost arms. We're going to keep the shoulders on the floor as we move the knees to the right. Back to center, moving left. Back to center. And set the feet down. Let's bump the knees to center. Feet to the outer edges of the mat. Relax, take a few breaths. And then ready for bridge. You can do regular bridge. You do supported bridge if you've got a block. Whatever you want to do. Hands by your side, heels back close to the body, and then pressing down, hands and feet. We're lifting up. And lowering down. Soles of the feet together, knees apart. If you want, you could bring arms up over your head. Knees back to center. Rock a little side to side. Extend the legs straight up. And then lowering. We're going to come down to a place that you feel comfortable for Shavasana. So keep the breath moving in the body. Find your just, quiet space where you feel at ease. So the asana practice is physical practice, but it's not an exercise like you might say, you know, Pilates or, well, Pilates is a little, there's some energy going on in Pilates. So in most forms of exercise, there isn't that energy movement. There can be an energy movement. We can kind of facilitate that release, but yoga specifically, the poses are designed to move energy in a specific way and to allow these chakras that we've talked about, these energy centers, to move and to open and to um, allow anything that's sort of blocked or kind of stuck in there to move through. Which is why it is different. It feels different, a yoga class, than other types of exercise, right? A Zumba class doesn't feel like a yoga class. And it's not just because you get to lie down. That's part of the reason, but it's not the whole reason, right? And you know this, having practiced yoga, you know there's more going on than meets the eye. Right? That's why it's important to incorporate some asana. It doesn't have to be a strenuous asana. Some days you might like to do a little more, but it doesn't need to be that way to get your result. Um, it can be a very gentle, very slow, very meditative. It does not need to be any one particular thing. If I had to say the one thing, it must be, right? Because I'm telling you all the things it doesn't have to be. Here's something it must be. You must be aware of the movement. You must be trying to link the breath with the movement, being aware of the breath. Um, and you must try to keep that focus on what you're doing, not thinking about what you're cooking for dinner or what you need to do for the rest of the day. Set those things aside. Stay focused. Stay here. And the last thing is listen to your body. Right? You're not going to get good results if you are kind of drag your body through your practice. Do what your body needs. beginning to move again, and getting yourself ready to make your way up to a seat. Hands together, or a breath in and a breath out. Thank you for coming to your mat this morning for yoga and for sharing it with me. I hope you have a most excellent day. Namaste. Okay, meditation. Because, how could we have a class without some meditation? We did it for a long time, but now this is what we do. All right, so sitting up, chair, cushion, whatever you want to do. Get your eyes closed. Find that peace, that quiet, looking for the stillness within. So, coming back, opening your eyes, taking a few breaths, back to awareness. Okay, so there's your Friday yoga and some meditation. So we've been doing the meditation for a little bit. I'd be interested if anybody wants to let me know how they're doing with that. You can send me a text or whatever, or what's that other thing? An email or a text if you have my number. I don't know. Or you could put something here. I mean, whatever you want to do. I'm just curious to see how people are doing with it. If they're um, feeling like it's getting easier or harder, or if you have. I mean, usually, you have some easier days and some harder days, but if you keep going with it, usually you'll see kind of a trend, right? Where you'll have more easy days and less struggle days, but not always. It comes and goes. So, but yeah, let me know because I would be curious to see. Okay, so we're done with this and on to the rest of the day. Um, I'll be back tomorrow and I will see you then. Thanks, Sandra. You have a great weekend too. I hope you guys enjoy the weather and maybe get outside for a bit. See you tomorrow.